Ready. Play.
Oh, de Minaur, double faults. Rafa wins. Rafa Nadal beats de Minaur in straight sets. 7-6.
It ended with a double
6-3.
fault. That is, wow. I
The
mean,
players
I'm
embrace
behind,
it in the
but
net.
whoa, double fault.
Wow, who saw that one coming? Rafa Nadal has just beaten number 11, is he? World number 11, Alex de Minaur.
Yes.
He takes the plaudits from the crowd. That's been special. I'll remember. You just had a feeling, didn't you? Like you talked about it being a final. I said to you from the moment I've watched that one, there was just something in the air that this was going to be Rafa's afternoon. Can he replicate it in a couple of days' time? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, really pleased for Rafa Nadal. He takes that one in just over 2 hours. So well done, Rafa.
The goodbye celebrations in Madrid will have to wait.
Yeah.
Because Nadal is extending his stay and he gets Pedro Cachin in the round of 32.
I'm assuming those two haven't played before.
This is the second round, so round of 32 against Pedro
Third
Cachin.
round.
Yes.
Third round because he played Darwin Blanche.
Yes, Darwin Blanche, and he did not have a bye, so he will be back on Monday. I guess that would be prime time. Most likely they'll put him at night again against Cachin. And I tell you what, that section is opening up, man. Montero, the Hechka. Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible, a deep run here. I think it's possible.
Yeah, they haven't met before. I was just double checking to see if I didn't think they would have met. Well, in fact, I mean, Pedro Cachin's actually a lot older than I gave him credit for, 29. But
28? Yeah, that sounds right.
29, yeah. I thought he was maybe in the 23, 24.
On the Challenger circuit for a while. But he loves the altitude clay. In terms of weapons, though, I mean, yeah, I would still think that's a good matchup for Nadal if he keeps playing the way he did today, and he's able to bring that same sort of intensity. But
don't feel bad for Demon Ghost. Come on, feel good for Rafa.
But yeah, for Demon, I think he will have a few little regrets, like not major ones, but just a couple of minor ones. You know, like for instance, that game at 3-2 in the second set, that was his chance to sort of get back into it. You know, make it a bit more physical than it ended up being out to be.
Yeah.
And that he didn't, he wasn't able to make Nadal serve it out. I think, yeah. But at the same time, like it's tough. He's playing Nadal in Spain with 10,000 people. Rooting for Rafa, like with such passion that and de Minaur has been in atmospheres like that before in Davis Cup and ATP Cup and United Cup, and so he knows how to deal with that. But I think this is just everything surrounding this occasion. He definitely handled that part of it well. It's just that he made some errors in some big moments that allowed Nadal a bit of a reprieve. I would say that.
Well, I'll maybe wait until John comes on to the stream to ask you both this question then about that victory there for Nadal. But I was going to say, well, I'll just ask you whilst we wait on John. Do you think this was more a win of Nadal playing well and at a high level, or was this maybe de Minaur maybe not playing, great? What in terms of, where was it won and lost?
Honestly, I think I get back to Nadal, because if Nadal is firing on all cylinders, if he is physically able to, sustain his level, then he is going to beat Alex on clay, at home in Madrid. And I think it's more about Rafa getting closer to his better level than it was about Alex not playing his. Alex still didn't play his best match. For sure, he can play better than what he showed today. But I definitely think Nadal. I do give him quite a bit of credit here, in terms of this was a step up from Barcelona for sure.
Yeah,
I'd say a little bit of both, probably. Hey, how are you doing, by the way?
Hi, John.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that a new microphone?
Yeah, do you like it?
I do. Talking tennis. Muffler.
Yeah, Yeah, I know. So yeah, I think of course Vanch is right. I think we'll have to probably ultimately give the credit to Rafa, and I think his consistency today was much better than it was in Barcelona. But of course, I think de Minaur probably would have won that match whatever happens. But if Rafa takes that first set in Barcelona and it was nip and tuck, then we might have seen something a bit more similar to today, where he took advantage at the beginning of the second set and then he remained solid throughout. Listen, let's not kid ourselves. This level from Rafa is not enough to beat Yannick, Carlos, or some of the best players in the world right now. But that's probably not what we're, even expecting or anything close to that. But obviously, it's good for the crowd to have this. This will be the moment. If Rafa doesn't win another match for the rest of his career, this will be the sort of moment where they had the win. I mean, I even heard some people on Twitter saying, "Listen, just get the first set, so at least the crowd can have some moment to celebrate." Well, I have a lot more than that now, and he's going to be playing Mr. 15 match in a row losing streak, but now he's on a winning streak of 2, I believe. Pedro Cachin in the next round. So, and then it'll be Lahetsko Montero, which. Whichever one of those three you pick out, you would think that they're not going to be a significant level up from de Minaur, if at all. But we must remember that de Minaur's level today, I also think that maybe that his level wasn't quite where it was in Barcelona, particularly in set 2, when he probably had the belief given to him from the first set. I also saw that even at 4-3, I think de Minaur had won 1 more point or 2 more points than Rafa.
Wow.
So, tennis scoring system, we love it, of course, but that probably tells you actually the match was super close. And of course, if it goes to a third, but Rafa needed that first set and he nearly threw it away. I remember that first set tiebreak, by the way, Vanch, when he was serving at 6-2, I think, and he had obviously some breathing space. And I thought he's going big on his second serve here because he wants to get this done.
He went bigger and then double faulted, right?
He double faulted, exactly. But I just thought he's going big on this second serve. And I was then thinking at 6-5, does he go big again on his second serve? Because he just wasn't getting any first serves in at that point. But again, maybe 1 or 2 gifts from de Minaur in that tiebreak was enough to help. But yeah, that's my thoughts, Tom.
Let me ask you both. And a lot of things have to happen for this to get even this far. But ultimately, he could end up facing Daniil Medvedev. That's the quarter that's next to him. Given Nadal's history on clay, given Medvedev's history on clay, I know it's the number 3 player in the world, but who do you kind of go for in that one?
What do you think, Raj?
Well, Medvedev hasn't even made the quarters of Madrid before, so that would be the first time for him.
Like I say, a lot of things may have to happen.
But I don't know. Like that's still like 3 rounds ahead from now. But I would say that that would be significantly more challenging for sure. Even though it's Medvedev on clay, I still think, he brings a level of consistency, shot tolerance, serve as well, where he, I think he can get a lot more free points than, for instance, de Minaur got today. So it'll definitely be a step up, and then also that would suggest that Nadal is, it depends on how he comes through his 3rd and 4th round, right? Like if he comes through unscathed and he's able to play under 2 hours both times, and he's feeling fresh physically, then maybe he has a shot at it, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would pick him right now to get past the quarters.
You can see from today, but by the way, as well, even though he won in straight sets in 2 hours, you can see from today why Rafa said, "Look, if the French Open's now, I don't think I'd be ready for it." And I'm pretty sure he means the physicality and also 5 sets, of course, more than anything else. That's the issue. But listen, if he wins another match and then if he does play Rome, which I don't know, I'd say it's probably 50-50 right now. If he goes deep here, does that mean he's less likely to play Rome? Does it mean he's more likely to play? Probably less likely if he goes deep here, I would suggest, because then he'll say he's got the matches under his belt and he'll have a good sort of 2-week practice period, if you like it, or maybe even 3 weeks. But he might then go to Rome and play a match and maybe even do a sort of Federer at the French Open sort of scenario where we had him obviously getting, I think, to the 4th round before pulling out against Berrettini a few years ago to try and save his body for Wimbledon. But listen, that's a long way ahead. Do you want to respond to any of that, by the way, Vanch?
No, I think I agree. Like if he gets past to the quarters, semis, then maybe he doesn't think it's worth going to Rome because he's gotten all the matches from Barcelona, Madrid, and he might think it's better to just maintain a good level of practice, and he might just opt to yeah, maybe get to Paris earlier, train there, and then and then let's say he loses before the quarters. Maybe he gets a couple of matches in Rome, and then that'll be enough. Maybe Rome, he's starting to feel like, okay, I'm getting closer to that level now, where I have just the right balance of matches and not too many to where I can hurt myself, but also just enough to feel like, okay, I can make a go at it at Roland Garros and be somewhat competitive and go out playing a good match against a great player, win or lose.
What do we think about his serve? Is it still sort of the same? Hi, Ghosty, by the way. Is it still the same kind of sort of where we were in Barcelona, but he just maybe got away with it today?
I think it's a little bit better than Barcelona, like not significantly, but I think it was enough where I think he was going after it a little bit more precision, especially when he was on the ad side. He wasn't getting hurt a ton by just spinning the first serve in and then having to defend in his backhand corner like on the next shot. So that was a little bit better that he was able to at least get a few. He wasn't getting any free points, like that's not really like going to happen at this stage of his career. Like any sort of like, okay, boom serve unreturned. Like he's not going to get many unreturned serves, but he's going to at least, if he gets into a position where he has a mid-court forehand or like a cross-court backhand he can work with, then like he's in good shape for the time being. But I also thought that was another area where de Minaur wasn't as great today as he was in Barcelona. Like he wasn't putting as much pressure on the Nadal serve as I thought he would.
Yeah, right. But that was something I thought today where I was thinking about that during that first set when it was getting super tight, and I was thinking Rafa must be just begging for a couple of 3 points on his serve, but of course he's not even getting close to that. It's just basically, first or second serve, whatever happens. And I was thinking at one point, the vulnerabilities on the second serve, but in a way, actually, his first serve is kind of like a second serve at the moment. So it's just vulnerable all around. But listen, I'm probably putting a negative spin on this. I should highlight there were some popcorn moments, weren't there, in the second set? 3 or 4 shots from him.
Shot down the line.
Yeah,
the forehand
shot down the line
was big. The backhand cross court as well. Stepping into it, being a lot more offensive on it.
But he was super patient today as well, though, wasn't he? He was waiting for those opportunities, and then the popcorn moment, the trigger would be pulled, and he was generally having success with it. There was a shot, I think it was a backhand cross court, that he got a funny angle on, but I saw him put his hand up afterwards. Was that to indicate that he'd mishit it, or did he get a net cord earlier in the rally?
It was a net cord, yeah.
Okay. So
then, I think that was a sensational shot then. I just wasn't quite sure. I was watching on my phone at the gym on the running machine, and my phone kept slipping, and play and all the rest of it wasn't the easiest and most comfortable of viewings at times. But
did you see did you see the controversy over the challenge?
Yeah, of course. In the first set, I mean, I was imagining how Vansh would react and how Damien would react to that, because of course you were on the first set, and I'm pretty sure Damien would be pretty hard and go, and the umpire's 100% right. Nadal has no case to bring, if you like. And Vansh would probably be like, yeah, but I can understand Nadal's frustration. Was I close on that one, Vansh?
Yeah, this was more understandable for me because, obviously a lot has changed, since Nadal hasn't played in over a year. We were talking about how Hawkeye, wasn't even a thing on all the 3 main courts last year in Madrid, and now it kind of is. And, I don't know, my understanding is that if you, circle a mark and you stop play, even if you don't, actively raise your hand and say, oh, I want to challenge, at least that indicates that you're questioning that mark. So I can understand his, frustration in that moment. But maybe from the umpire's perspective, he thought he was kind of still chasing the drop shot and that he was still in the point actively. But yeah,
what do you think? What do you think, Tom?
I'm a little bit split because, listen, common sense says the ball was out, and he didn't go for the +1 of de Minaur. However, at the same time, he didn't shout challenge. I don't know why he didn't shout challenge. They were talking about it in commentary in the UK about, like Vansh said, potentially, Rafa's so used to not having to challenge in clay court because he just basically stops and circles the mark, and then the umpire comes down and basically checks it out. But it just seemed weird why he didn't. And also there was very much a slight kind of movement towards the ball before.
There was. Yep, I agree. So, I'm surprised. That Damien was coming hard on the umpire, actually, as it turns out, Vansh.
Right. I don't remember if we really like spent too much time on it when we were actually doing
Oh,
the thing,
okay.
to be honest, like
But I know what you
we
mean, Tom.
were
There
on the
was a sort of
question.
movement from him, and I think that's the other thing. But really, Rafa does need to, at least by the letter of the law. I understand the sympathies that Vanch highlighted, because it's obviously, you know, a very completely new thing for him. But, you know, if suddenly we were getting, you know, one serves tomorrow, because that was the rule, and somebody forgot that rule, you just go, well, it's still the new rule, if you like. And Rafa needs to, you know, we've seen it on a hard court, and I even saw it during the second set, a quick finger to the air.
Well, he
If
was
you
doing
like.
that like he was after in the second set. He was doing that as a kind of bit of a thumb,
Provocation.
two fingers up to Fergus
Yeah.
Murphy. Like he hit a ball that was miles out, and then he started challenging it because he was kind of trying to just kind of a bit of irony there as well. But listen, we all slammed Djokovic for it, in Indian Wells about stopping when there is no
Yeah.
rule to that. So we can't not say the same about Nadal. I know there are different circumstances and different situations, but yeah, why are these players just stopping and not making their voice heard? I suppose, but anyway,
indeed. All right. Any final thoughts? I mean, Cachin next. Is he winning that one?
for me, yes, but
I think
Vanch knows him a lot.
that's a match he can win for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the draw is very. I mean, when you said Medvedev potentially in the quarterfinals, and I had a quick look to see who else is in that section, and I think Sebi Korda is there, but it was like, you know, I'm probably going to share it on the screen right
Ben
now.
Shelton.
Yeah, I mean Shelton in these conditions, Mahatch. I mean, listen, it could be tricky, but the next two, Cachin and either probably I would guess Lehecka. I would say that Lehecka's serve is obviously a bit more powerful in Madrid than it would be in other clay conditions. But you know, Medvedev had chances today to win that match, and you know there is a quarterfinal there if Rafa is playing either like he did today or maybe 1 or 2% better, which I think he should be playing in the next matches. Of course, if he goes 3 and things get tricky, then he might come undone. But then, I mean, you're going to play someone good in the quarterfinals of an ATP 1000. So whether it's Bublik or whether it's Korda or Medvedev or Mahatch or Shelton, you know, it's not Sinner and it's not Alcaraz. You know, he could have played them in the second round. Don't forget because
so it's a decent draw. You're right. It's a decent draw, and it's coupled to the fact that he was obviously an unseeded player, which makes it even better for him now. He couldn't have dreamed for a better kind of draw now.
No. Vanch, one more word.
Yeah, I think his next match is winnable if he's assuming he has no setback between now and I guess when he plays next Monday.
Yeah, let's see if he makes it to the match. You know, we've seen Rafa before. You know, win these things and then pull out. He's kind of all the Nolly fam says like he doesn't like to come up to about players that he thinks he's going to lose. So I don't know, but just like I said, I say, let's see.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Big thanks, Tom. Big thanks as well to you, Vanch. And enjoy your Saturday mornings, Vanch, and your Saturday evenings, Tom.
See you later.
Cheers.
See you later. Cheers. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.